Well, a very good morning, everyone. I hope you're able to see all of our screens, and you're welcome to this webinar that we're going to be hosting today, introducing from Vergent platform. And we're here to introduce you to our brand new partner, TCN. You already are customers of ours and already on a first-class loan management system. And as always, Vergent is always on the verge of new technologies. And so in partnership with our new partners here at TCN, we're looking to offer you even more efficiencies that you can gain using our platform, as well as giving you that same time with those efficiencies to save time during your business process and save money. So we want to introduce you into this great new platform today. I'm going to turn this over to our partner, Clint Laubal, who's going to describe a little bit about TCN and what it can do for you and your business. So I hope you all are ready for some really great information. Clint, all yours, sir.
Awesome. Thanks, Gio. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. TCN is also very excited to partner with this integration with Vergent LMS. So as mentioned, my name's Clint Laubal. I'm the Regional Director of Sales for TCN. I'd like to start by a brief introduction, just so you have a little bit of background on TCN and understand where we've come from. So TCN was founded in 1999, and we've always been a cloud-based solution from inception. So this means there's no hardware or software to purchase. Username and password, you get an account, you're up and running. We have over 3,000 customers globally, and we make billions of calls annually. What we're going to do today is take you through the TCN omni-channel solution. The omni-channel solution from TCN will cover your voice, which is your inbound and outbound calling capabilities. We also have the ability to do a key press to connect customers back to active signed-in agents. We're also going to cover our texting platform, our email capabilities, and a product that we call Vocal Direct, which is a ringless voicemail to cell phones. Next slide. As we all know, communication is key throughout the lending cycle in your business. So as you probably read in the introductory email, the invite, there are many options to use TCN in your daily tasks and workload. Some of the things that we've mentioned as a use case scenario to pay attention to would be easily sending out payment reminders, due date reminders, appointment reminders, collection notifications, which will obviously decrease your collection efforts. Any type of marketing information for any upcoming offers or opportunities to your customer base. This will help you improve your efficiency throughout the day with no additional labor needed. And of course, this frees you up to focus on your business and other business matters that are pressing for what you're doing in your day-to-day operations. One of the things that we wanted to mention, we're also going to help you manage compliance with the TCN system. All the compliance is built in to help you with the TCPA regulations, Reg F, state and federal regulations. So we're going to take that burden also off of your shoulders and make sure that you're as compliant as possible in your workload and making these calls, emails, and texts. Mike Borden is one of our senior operation managers. We've invited him here today to go through a demo of TCN. And again, as a reminder, please feel free to ask questions in the question tab there, and we'll make sure we get those answered. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Mike Borden.
Thank you, Clint. So Clint explained what TCN is, what TCN does. I'm going to actually show you that. So as Clint mentioned, TCN is a completely cloud-based hosted communication platform, meaning all you need to do to control TCN is remember your username and password. If you can get logged into TCN, you have complete control. Now, the interface we're looking at here is our operator interface. It has access to some of the higher level functionality, which we'll take a look at, things like our agent management tools and our list management, our compliance suite that Clint also mentioned. We also have our back office interface, and this is where there's more of the day-to-day controls, the reporting aspects, the setups, and the implementations. Now, the outbound communications that TCN offers, the phone calls, the emails, the text messages, the ringless voicemail, are all done through the web portal. And it's a matter of 3 steps. As long as you guys can count to 3, you can use TCN. Under the send broadcast page, you take advantage of the 3 steps required. Step number 1, load the list of people. So whoever you want to contact that day or just that campaign, you can run as many concurrent campaigns as you need. So you need a payment reminder campaign running at the same time as a collection notice campaign, running at the same time as a notification. They can all be done at the same time. You just load different lists of different people. Now, those lists can be loaded through this web portal right here just by clicking on import and finding the file on your computer. But once you have that list, you then pick the template. Now, the template controls what the system actually does. TCN has been around for a couple decades now, so we can do everything as old school as play a pre-recorded message. Anything you load in your data file can actually be inserted in the message. So every message can be personalized. Hello, this is a message for Michael Borden. This is not a sales or marketing phone call. It's a call from blah, 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 blah. Whatever you want to say, you have complete control. The templates can also be interactive messages. You know, if this is Michael Borden, please press 1 now. And then you can go into a secondary message, or you can connect back to an awaiting agent. You can do predictive campaigns where there's no messaging in place. TCN initiates an outbound call, detects a live person, and connects them back to an awaiting agent. You can do preview or power dialing where the list is loaded. A single call is presented to the agent that's logged into TCN, which we'll discuss if required or not. And then they initiate the call. So there's no real functionality from the TCN system other than presenting that call and making the call. From the management perspective, though, you have complete control. You get to see every second of the day what the agents are doing if they're logged in. And then, obviously, as we mentioned, our ringless voicemail. Load up a list, send out calls. Nobody's phone rings, but their cell phones get a voicemail. So you pick the list, you pick the template, you pick the time. Now, by default, we will not call before 8 a.m. or after 9 p.m. based on the area code of the phone number. You also have the ability to compare a zip code to the phone number and make sure we don't call too early for the phone number or too early for the person's address. Now, there's some other settings. Do you want to scrub out cell phones? Do you want to run a compliance rule? Do you want to split up the file by time zone? All things that can be chosen through this interface. All 3 of these steps can be automated through SFTP servers and API calls as well. So as we work with Vergent to advance this integration, we may come to a point where there's more automation in place that you don't have to come in here and do things on an ad hoc system. But it's always available. You can mix and match as much as you need. So even if at some point you set up some sort of automation overnight to run your daily campaigns, you can still come in, pop out a list from Vergent at 11 a.m., load it up to TCN and be making calls in just a few minutes. Because again, it's pick a list, pick a template, pick a time. And you can have as many templates as you need. These templates control what the system does. You also have email templates and SMS templates. Very similar, same 3 steps. Load a list, pick a template, pick a time. The template says exactly what you want to say. It can include information from the message, the person's name. So just like a phone call, the emails and text messages can be completely personalized to who you're communicating with. Now, once the campaign's sent, might as well schedule one out. We have our list. We have our template. We have our time. I'm going to schedule that out, and I'm going to initiate these calls. Now, this template is a voice broadcasting campaign, meaning it's going to call the individuals and it's going to play a message. The caller ID is completely controlled by you. You put in TCN what phone number you want it to display. The message is completely controlled by you. You have access under our message manager to record your own audio or use text to speech or have a professional voice talent loaded up to the TCN system, however you wish to proceed at that time. The reports are broken down into outbound, inbound, manual calls, and agents. The difference would be outbound calls are campaigns. Keeping track of what TCN is doing, seeing how many calls are in progress, seeing those results is all done. You can refresh this page and see exactly what's going on. You can come down the bottom. You can even download the call report and see what has happened on every single call. Not only that, you can take it a step further. If you're a fan of Excel and pivot tables, you could actually theoretically customize your own reports with whatever data TCN has, and you can download those. You could automate those out via email. You could automate those out via an SFTP server or API calls. A lot of options, and again, you can mix and match with everything. If you're manually loading a file, your automated reports can still run. If you're loading an automated file through the API calls or SFTP, you can manually down the reports. Whatever your needs are, you can fit within the TCN system. Now, I keep mentioning agents. I do want to bring up a point that you do have the ability to have agents logged into TCN. So if I were to go to the TCN website and log in with a username and password that has the appropriate permissions as an agent, I could then make and take calls. So the TCN system, still completely web-based, all they need to know is their username and password, will interact with my computer headset. So I don't need a third party. I don't even need a phone on my desk. If I have a headset plugged into my computer, when I get logged in, it will say I am connected. That I will then be in a waiting status, and I have a multitude of options, all options of which are still under your control. So here, this agent has the ability to check my voicemail. Here, this agent has the ability to see if I have any call history or intercom another agent. I also have the ability to make a manual call, or maybe I'm not available for a call. I can click on pause, and I have customized pause codes per your account, whatever you want, to tell the system why I'm on pause. Because here I am in a waiting status. Here I am available to take a call. You, the management user, can see that. You can see that I've been logged in. You can see that I'm in a waiting status. You can see that I've been there for 39 seconds. If I change to another status, if I go into manual dial, I am now in a different status. I am now getting ready to dial a phone number. And I am still in that manual status until I hit dial. You, from the management side, can still see that. Every second of the agent's day that they're logged into TCN is recorded, is reportable, is able to be exported, so you can get a daily summary of everything that happened. Every inbound call, every outbound call, every text message, everything the agent does as well. It's all built into this one system. So once you're familiar with the interface, you can do whatever you want. You can hop into the Hunt Group Manager and control what the agent is allowed to do. When they make a manual call, what's the caller ID that's shown? Are they allowed to change it? Maybe they have a phone book. Maybe they can select a different phone number as the caller ID. That is all done through the system and under your control. Now, not that I trust everyone to use the system equally. So luckily, every username has their own level of permissions. So you can have the IT guy with the ability to manipulate the system and control configurations. You have other users that may or may not have complete system access. In all reality, it's going to depend how it fits your needs. We have clients with no agents. They simply use us from a singular location to send out notifications, calls, emails, text messages. We have other clients that are legitimately full call centers that have tons and tons of agents logged in, making and taking those calls. You pick and choose what parts of the system you want to use. So the only thing you want to keep in mind with the agent interaction is to make and take calls, they have to be logged into the web portal. But again, agents are not required. If you want to send out calls and say, hey, call us back, you give them your phone number. You make the caller ID your office or retail store's phone number, and they call you back. It doesn't have to go through the TCN system. It can if you want it to. If you were to do route inbound calls through TCN, everything is template based. So it's just depending on how complex you want it to be. Do you want the call to come in and maybe check the time of the day? That's simply an action. what time of the day it is. During the day, we go to an introduction. After hours, we go to a voicemail. Can be done within the CCN system, all within the template. Maybe you don't even do that. Maybe you have every call come in and it simply plays an introduction. You can do that. You can do a full automated attendant. Thank you for calling. If you know your party's extension, press 1 now. If you'd like to speak to customer service, press 2 now. If you'd like to yell at our billing department or have a conversation, press 3 now. All of that can be done in this template-driven environment through TCN. And again, you, if you desire, have complete access to the TCN system, control whatever you need. Now, that call routing, that ability to tell TCN where the call should go, that is driven by our agent management page. This is the list of my agents. Looking at this agent here, they are logged into the general hunt group, which is the page I showed you where you controlled the caller ID or the pause codes or what buttons the agent has. That is their hunt group configuration. But here, this agent has skills listed. This tells the TCN system what calls they're allowed to get. This agent is allowed to get customer service calls. Great. Allowed to get billing calls, allowed to get emergency calls. Maybe they're different inbound numbers. Maybe they're different outbound campaigns that are connecting back to these awaiting agents. These skills and this skill-based routing tells TCN who gets what call. You can even set an aptitude, this number here, that you can prioritize one agent over the other. Let's see. Michael Borden, very good at billing calls. He has a 100, meaning he gets the call before anyone else with a lower number. Now, if everybody has a level 100, then it's whoever's been waiting longest. But if somebody has a 99, Michael Borden gets it first. Compared to something like customer service, where he's a number 1. He's our last resort. He's allowed to take the customer service calls, but we really don't want him to because he doesn't have the appropriate tact when speaking to customers. That's okay. If he needs to take the call, if everybody else is busy, then and only then does it go to Michael Borden. You can configure that and control that at the agent and call level if need be. Now, again, agents aren't required. Again, sending out emails or text messages or phone calls, they're just a load of a list and a campaign that runs. If you want to do predictive campaigns where we connect live people back, you want your agents logged in so they can quickly handle those calls. If you're doing inbound call routing and ending on agents that are logged in, again, you want to have those agents logged in. When the calls go out, whether it be a manual call, an outbound campaign, you have access to our reports. Now, let me actually initiate a manual call and I'll show you what the report looks like. So here I am, I'm an agent, I'm logged in, I'm going to call this number from this caller ID for reporting purposes. I'm even going to type in an account number for this individual that I'm calling because everything that happens can be reported on, and I'm going to hit dial. The system initiates a call, the phone rings, and I'm now on this call ID with this number. I use this caller ID number. I don't have any scripting in place, but that is available within TCN. You can set up scripting and responses, again, all which can be reported upon. You also have the option to control what the agent sees. They can see if there's any calls on hold. They can see if a call is being recorded. They can place a call on hold or transfer a call. Now, as this goes on, you have access to the agent dashboard, which is your real-time environment. This is what is happening at this moment. You also have access to these reports that I showed you, like this outbound campaign. I scheduled this campaign. We looked at the summary before. Now something actually happened. So here I can see how many calls were answered. Here I can see how many calls were detected as a machine. I can see if we delivered to any machines. I can see if we were hung up on by any machines. You have other results as well too. Invalid, canceled, are they on your internal do not call list? Did we recognize them as an invalid number? The receiving carrier said we cannot deliver. You get all of these reports when the campaigns are running. And you get all of these call reports either downloadable from the web portal or exported out via an SFTP or an API call. So you will have the ability to see what happened on all the calls. You can even have the ability to look up specific calls. So here, if I type in a phone number and say, show me the last week, I can see that I have called this number manually a multitude of times. I can see that I reached a live person, or it was no answered, or there's still an active call, which is this call I'm on. So you will get information on everything, and everything that goes into the system. Let's see, like the fact that this call connected with Michael Borden. There was 12 seconds of talk time. There was 21 seconds of wrap up. The agent was waiting for 2 seconds before this call was initiated. There was 9 seconds in that manual option. Here I have some agent responses. Now this response was not completed. There was no account number entered. There was no response, but you have the ability to customize all of those. I mentioned here, this response box is really where you can set up a script. That is done under our campaign scripting. And you can do where it's just a drop down, you know, what happened on the call, good call, bad call, left a message, sale, something like that. But you can also get other information. You can get the account number. You can actually give them a full script of what to say. I'm sure they go through their spiel a lot, but this can actually help them on the page train new agents or just be more comfortable with what they expect they're going to want. So if this agent finishes the call, they go into a wrap up status where they can notate the account in your CRM. You, again, from the management perspective, get to keep track of that. As always, everything that happens on TCN is reportable to you. So we have our outbound calls, you know, your messaging, your predictive campaigns, your templates. You have your outbound email and text messaging. Everything's customizable, everything's personable. You have your inbound call routing if you so desire to do that with a TCN system. I will tell you, if you do text messaging from TCN, we will procure you a toll-free source number. That is a legitimate phone number that your text messages will come from. So if you send a text message and someone calls you back at that number, we can forward calls to your office, or we can route those calls into agents. So you'll never lose a call on TCN. It doesn't just stop going somewhere. We can always make sure you get those calls. Now we have the different reports, but now I want to jump into our higher level reporting, our business intelligence suite. If I click on this analytics dashboard, what this does is this takes all the data, all the spreadsheets you can customize, all the data you can export, and it puts it into tables and charts and graphs and lets you customize those. So if you want broken down by day, your inbound traffic and your abandon rates, you can do that. If maybe you don't count every call towards that abandon rate, makes sense to me. If somebody calls in and hangs up right away, do I really think they should count towards my abandon rate? Maybe not. That's okay. You can edit this. You can go into here and you can actually manipulate the calculations that TCN is using to figure out the numbers, because just because it applies to some of our clients doesn't mean it applies to you. Because TCN is customizable, because TCN is user friendly, and because you have complete control, you make the system do what you want. You make the system show you what data you need. Now you can do some more colorful things, you know, calls coming in, different lines and bars and colors and a pie. You can keep track of the agents, how long Michael Borden was logged in for, how many calls they took, what was their average talk time. Again, every second, if they're logged into TCN, is trackable. If you're not having agents logged in, we can still track the calls. How many calls did you make? What were the results on those calls? How long did the campaign take? All that information is available to you. Now I'm going to hop back over here into our operator interface and show you some more high-level functionality. We took a look at our agent management page. That's great. We took a look at business intelligence. We have list management services. Now, what list management services allows you to do, if desired, is load up a big file of data and use our filtering and our sorting to chop it up into smaller pieces. Vergent, more likely than not, can spit out exactly what you're looking for, campaign by campaign, but keep in mind, we do have some clients with software that's not as nice as Vergent, so we have to facilitate some options. We also have our compliance suite where Clint mentioned we will help you with compliance. We are not lawyers. I'm not a lawyer. It's not legal advice, but we can get TCN to fit your compliance needs. Let's say here, an example. A lot of our account recovery clients are concerned with Regulation F. Their interpretation of the regulation allows them to control these rules. Some clients are just basic and say, listen, I don't want you to call a phone number more than 7 times in 7 days. No problem. Be our pleasure. Keep in mind, you control the data. So if you don't give it to us, obviously we're not going to call it. But they want to use our rules and regulations just to cover their butt. Now, some other clients say, I want it based on the actual unique identifier. TCN is completely global. We have operations in the United States, Canada, UK, Europe, Australia, and India. Those databases are unique to those locations. There is no overlap. They have their own databases. And these rules, since they're customizable by you, can be customized to any of those locations. For example, if I were to write a rule, and when I say write a rule, I just mean click autocomplete. If I were to deny outbound calls more than 2 times, actually, you know what? Let's not even do that. Deny outbound calls before, let's say, 10 a.m. in the country of Canada and the province of, let's not wake up British Columbia too early. You can write a rule to fit your needs. It doesn't have to be any of these. You have the ability to come into our compliance suite, click on create, and start with a blank slate. You even have the ability to use our learning center to go through our glossary and to see some example rules. As I mentioned, you have complete control. It is a very user-friendly system, so you can come in here and you can learn the system. Don't get me wrong, we're here to hold your hand and train you on the system. But if you want to take some time, if you can't fall asleep, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, this will probably take care of you. You can come through here and you can learn how to write your own rules and you can structure them to fit your environment, not ours. Now I'm going to scroll down past a couple here. I want to hit on room 303. It's an internal chat program. Your agents have access to it. Your management team has access to it. It's not Slack. You know, it's not video sharing. It's not emojis. It's just built-in simple chat that everyone can use. We also have voice analytics, a very nice feature. If your agents are logged into TCN, we can record the conversations between the agents and the consumer. And if you turn on voice analytics, we can also transcribe those recordings. So I guess, again, if you can't sleep, this might be helpful. You can pop in here, you can click on a recording, and you can go through and see everything that was said. This is not the goal of voice analytics. The goal of voice analytics is to take these transcribed calls and apply filters. To come in here and type in keywords and look for certain keywords that were said. You want to go through and find every recording where they said, let me speak to your manager. You can type in that phrase. You want to go in and find every recording where they didn't say, this is an attempt to collect a debt, or thank you for calling. You can type that into this phrase here and you can flip the switch. You can see the calls that don't have the words you expect to exist. Now, again, you can come in here, you can save these filters, you can apply this information to the table. But once you set up the filters, you also can turn on flags. And what flags do is let you sit back, relax, wait, and as soon as recording matches your parameters, you will be notified. You don't have to listen to 1,000 calls. You don't have to apply filter after filter after filter to try to find something. You set up the flag and TCN actually tells you when it's time to listen to one of these conversations. And again, you can go in and you can listen to the conversation, You can download the audio and you can follow along with the text. Now I will back up to our OmniBoss because I did mention outbound text and outbound email, which was the point of the demonstration, but I want to double back and just overview a little bit of this as it is a menu item. TCN is working on not just batch outbound email and text messaging, but agent interactive email, chat, and text messaging. So that if you do have agents logged in, you could set up, let's say, a web chat widget on your website so they can interact, or you can set up a connected email. So when an email comes into an address, it can be distributed to the agents. TCN also offers some payment options. We are not a payment processor, but think of the options we have available, like an inbound call flow. We have an automated attendant. We can ask a person to dial an extension. We could also ask a person to enter credit card information, and we could submit that in real time to your payment processor, not ours. We also have the ability to send out text messages with links in them that will connect to a web portal for payment processing, but that all just depends on what level of functionality you're taking advantage of on TCN. Today, I really wanted to give you kind of the basics, because that was what was in the PowerPoint, of the outbound communications that we have available. So I went through, well, let's see, we went through some reports, and our list is our outbound communications, our inbound call routing, the controls you have over every second of your agent's day if you want, our different high-level interfaces, the agent management, natural language compliance, voice analytics. Also made sure that we took a look at business intelligence. Again, everything is customizable, everything is reportable, everything is exportable. So at the end of the day, you want 50 emails of everything that happened on TCN. Sounds like torture to me, but you can get that. So I want to leave some time. I know we have a little bit, and see if there's any specific questions that I can dive into. I saw a couple, which I think I covered in regards to who uses TCN. Honestly, we have clients that, I used to have a client that was a shoe repair guy, and he would use TCN to send out a call once a week to let people know that their shoes are fixed. We also have one of the largest banks in India using us with 5,000 agents a day. So if you fit in between one of those, you're good. And I do believe I made sure I covered the reports with the responses and the results that you will get. Those results are everything from a live person to a machine to an invalid number, which are downloadable or exportable. Any other immediate questions that I can address, Clint or McKay, have come into the question list?
You take a look here. I think one came through about integration with WhatsApp.
Currently at this time, we are not integrated with WhatsApp inside the TCN system. We may work with partners to coordinate that communication, but the agent interaction is with our own web chat widget or emails or text messages, just text messages.
I believe that's all the questions that I see. I don't know if anyone else has any other questions, but
just a general comment here. As you can see, this is a great platform that TCN is displaying, and it works seamlessly with your Vergent experience. So as Mike was talking about, you can connect your customers via APIs, SFTPs, things of that nature. So it works with, that's the purpose of our integration, so that you as our customers have this integration with this brand new platform to help with your efficiencies.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Gio.
No problem.
In closing, I wanted to mention that we've made this system available to all Vergent LMS users. Those attending today will get a complimentary, a free account of TCN. So your next step would be to, Mike, if you want to put my contact information up, that last slide, grab my contact information, contact me. We can get my team working on setting up your account. Basically, the next step would be for me to send you the basic user agreement for you to review. once that's signed and completed and returned, that kicks off everything internally for my team to work with you and get that set up. So you will have a free 24/7 customer support team, as Mike mentioned, dedicated to your account. They'll know you, your account personally. My team's going to be the ones individually helping you set up your account, taking you through TCN to make sure that you're comfortable and going through the steps that Mike presented to us. So that's basically it. We make it very simple, very easy. It's a turnkey solution. We usually have accounts up and running within 48 to 72 hours, depending on the extent of the account. But we're excited again about this partnership, and we look forward to helping you get started using your TCN account and making your business more efficient, more flexible, and making sure that you're taking full advantage of all the technology in this partnership offers.
Excellent. Well, I just want to say a special thanks to Clint and Mike for working through this today and for doing this demonstration here for our webinar, I should say, for our customers. And if you all don't catch Clint's information there, please feel free to reach out to your Vergent representative and we'll get you in touch with TCN as well. And unless there's anything else, I hope you all have a fantastic day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.